So how was my experience going to Florida on my motorcycle, specifically my Harley Davidson 2003 Vrod from New York to Daytona Beach? The experience, I gotta say, I have mixed feelings about it. It was not a negative one though. So I left at 3 a.m. hoping I could be at least 2 states down, or 3. New York, New Jersey, Philly, and Delaware. Those were the smooth states. The rougher ones must have been like North Carolinas, South Carolinas. The Carolinas were the ones where I was itchy the most. I was anxious, I was pantsy. The V-Rods are not the most fuel efficient motorcycles. Actually, they're one of the worst. V-Rod is either considered a drag racing bike at best or a beach cruiser at worst. But it is not a tour bike. And I use it as a tour bike. And I regretted it kind of instantly, as I stopped about every hour and 10 minutes, give or take, for gas. So gas was definitely the worst part of the whole experience. The next part is the cold. I know, you want to be prepared, be all geared up and everything, but the cold will bite you. It will bite your hands. It will bite your legs. There was a couple of times where you got to be aware of this. You be fighting that wind and the cold gets, too crazy. All that time with your legs still and stiff and all that cold hitting it, it does affect. Your legs will get numb without you realizing it. Be very careful. Also, be mindful also, if you're one of those drivers that like to tailgate, don't. I found a lot of situations where traffic came to a halt really, really quick. And even though I was not tailgating, there were situations where the slowness of the brake, because you have to take your time with it, and I had to lean out a little bit into the shoulder just to avoid smashing into something. It was nothing major. It was no skid. It was just out of precaution that my stop wouldn't be executed where I thought it would be. You understand? So moving on. I can't stress this enough. Have good tires on your motorcycle, preferably new tires. There came a lot of situations where I started second guessing my front wheel. I changed my rear wheel last year, and it's been like 2 or 3 years that I've had the bike without changing the front tire. I looked at it, it had a little bit of skin on it, but I took the chance. Don't do that. Why? I've seen way too many cars on the side of the road with flat tires. I mean, I couldn't go about 50 or 100 miles without seeing somebody on the side of the road tending to their flat tire on the side, just changing it. Or how many times I've seen the assistance truck helping people change a tire. There's something in the road, and this is specifically for New Yorkers, because we know we're used to driving in the blacktop and the tar and all of that. And I just found out something that was very interesting. The tar mat that we use in New York is tar because it expands, because we have 2 different weathers. We have all year round, all season, snow, ice, and everything. So the floor expands. In Florida, it's pretty much hot all the time. So the floor, the road, it's different. And for some reason, it's really rougher on the tires. It's not like the blacktop. So with that being said, make sure you have new tires, or you're gonna be like me, stressing in Florida, making phone calls to every motorcycle dealer, which, by the way, that's another thing. That's one thing I do like about Florida. There are a lot of motorcycle shops, all right? But you will be making those phone calls about asking about new tires. And I did happen to find somebody. There was a Sky in Sanford, Florida. That was really great. And one thing you got to keep in mind before you take your motorcycle to any shop, especially in Florida, and I didn't know this before, is that your bike has to be within 10 years or less. If not, they do not want to work on your bike. Now, hear what I'm saying. If your bike is older than 10 years, they will deny working on your motorcycle. That was my problem. My bike, I have a 2003 Harley Vrod, and it's 20 years old to the date. And right off the back, when I gave the lady my information, I gave her my tire number. They said that they had my tire, but they would not work on it. Now, me being the person that I am, I don't really like to take no for an answer. So I jetted over there anyway. I knew they had the tire. At worst, I'll just get the tire, throw it around my waist, and then fiddle my way around these towns looking for somebody to put the tire on. But when I got there and I explained to them that, listen, you can go outside and see that my motorcycle is pretty much mint. And you would really like my motorcycle. Like, my motorcycle was celebrity status in Florida. And I appreciate and I thank everybody who showed us love. All right? So that's a big star for Polished Third. Receptionist lady came out and saw the bike. She video recorded, I guess, to show the guys in the inside. They had to get the okay first, you know, because they do have their rules. I don't know why is it. It could be that parts, you know, fail here and there and they don't want to be responsible for damaging your bike. Or it could be the fact that some of these bikes actually can last forever and you could keep them on the road and they prefer you just to get a new one. But these people were great. They saw my bike. They loved it. And within 15, 20 minutes, I had, at maybe half hour at most, I had the motorcycle on with no issues whatsoever and started really coasting. Right after I got that front tire, I went for it. Woo! I could not believe the twisty roads, all of I mean, there's really not much to show. I'm not going to lie. If I was to come here and just GoPro the ride that I went through, it will be boring as hell. Okay? Because we all know that to be in a motorcycle is a feeling, it's an experience. But there's not really no scenic anything in Florida. There isn't any mountains. Everything used to be either a swamp or just flat. Nothing. Have brand new tires because you're going to be riding a lot. I mean, and people in Florida don't mind taking a trip. Oh, yeah, that's about 2 hours out. I'll be there in a second. Oh, yeah, that's only like 4 hours. What? You know what 4 hours is in riding time for New Yorkers? That's like eternity.